R plus L equals J is the popular and most discussed fan theory which suggests that Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark are the true parents of Jon Snow. Targaryen represents fire, Stark represents ice. It makes Jon the prince whose is the Song of Ice and Fire. We all know that Jon is not the bastard of Ned. Ned always refers to Jon as his blood, not his son. And when he was thinking about his children, he forgot to mention Jon, and is too vulnerable to cheat on Catelyn with another woman. In Book 1, Ned says that he is living a lie for 14 years. Guess what? Jon Snow is 14 years old in Book 1. So with that cleared up, let's take a look into some history. To celebrate the end of long winter, a tourney was held at Harrenhal. All lords and ladies were there, including the King Aerys and Crown Prince Rhaegar Targaryen. Starks were there too, Brandon, Ned, and Lyanna Stark. They were accompanied by Howland Reed. At that time, Lyanna Stark was already betrothed to Robert Baratheon, who was madly in love with her. Also, at the time of tourney, Rhaegar was already married to Elia Martell, and also had 2 children. At the end, Rhaegar won the tourney and was supposed to crown his Queen of Love and Beauty. Instead of crowning his wife, he gave the crown of blue roses to Lyanna Stark, making everybody shocked. A year later, he supposedly kidnapped Lyanna Stark. Brandon Stark, who was supposed to marry Catelyn Tully, went to King's Landing with some northern men to bring back his sister. Upon entering the Red Keep, he shouted for Rhaegar to come out and die, but Rhaegar was not in King's Landing. Mad King Aerys Targaryen captured Brandon and accused him for plotting Crown Prince Rhaegar's murder. Lord Rickard Stark was summoned to King's Landing to answer his son's actions in trial, but instead, both Brandon and Rickard were murdered treacherously by Mad King. Robert and Ned were both at war with Jon Arryn. After knowing Lyanna's abduction and murder of Rickard and Brandon Stark, Robert, Ned, and Jon called their banners to fight against the Targaryens. This latter called Robert's Rebellion. Ned Stark married Catelyn before going to war. After some time, Rhaegar showed up at King's Landing without Lyanna. Commanding the Targaryen army, Rhaegar met Robert in a combat at Trident, where the pair had a legendary duel. This duel lasted long, but at the end Robert killed Rhaegar with a massive blow of his warhammer. After Rhaegar's death, the King's Landing is sacked by Lannisters. The Mountain rapes Elia Martell and kills her with her 2 children. Jaime, who was one of the King's Guard, kills Mad King. Ned does not like this slaughter, so he goes to Dorne with Howland Reed and 5 other men to find Lyanna. They come across Tower of Joy. They saw 3 Kingsguard guarding the tower. One of them was Arthur Dayne. When Ned said to this Kingsguard that the war is over and the king is dead, they only said, "The Kingsguard do not flee. We swore a vow." After the battle, all 3 Kingsguards and 5 of Ned's men dies. Only Ned and Howland survives. In the tower, Ned finds Lyanna in a pool of blood. She only says, "Promise me, Ned," and dies. Ned takes Lyanna's body to Winterfell. So here's what happened at the Tower of Joy. Lyanna was dying of childbirth, which explains the blood. The promise she claimed from Ned was to protect her child. The child would be a Targaryen, so he would be the claimant of the Iron Throne. Now for a Kingsguard, a primary vow is to protect the king. King Aerys is dead, Prince Rhaegar is dead, and Prince Viserys has fled the city. So why these 3 Kingsguard were not with Viserys? Unless of course there is a Targaryen prince in that tower. Robert had sworn that he would kill every Targaryen, which makes Rhaegar and Lyanna's child in danger. That's why Ned declares the child as his own bastard son and names him Jon. If this theory is true, Jon was the true heir of the Iron Throne all this time. That's it for now. Please support this channel by subscribing and sharing this video.